Good afternoon and welcome to a packed Thurrock Oakfield, where today Thurrock entertain Haberdashers, Old Haberdashers, and this is the first time in both clubs' history, which stretches back to the 1920s, the two clubs have ever met. Today has been a very special day for the home side with their first captain's dinner, where 11 former first team captains returned with many of the former players to have a lunch before the games. There should be a very large crowd here today. People have travelled from Portugal, from Gloucester, from really all parts of the country to watch this game. Haberdashers are just taking the field, and Haberdashers have Joseph Gatiss at full-back, Ed Jenkins on the wing, Harry Briffett in the centre along with Joshua Downey. Joshua Seabrook is at 11, Ian McGee, his good name, is number 10, Gareth Jones at 9. James Clark is number 8, and the captain. Harvey Taylor is the open side flanker. Antoine Cornet is number 6. In the second row, Thomas Arnott and Cian O'Riordan. The front row consists of Patrick Haggerty, Jonathan Gatiss, the vice captain, and Ian Sanderson. Thomas Marsh, Jonathan Preston, Sam Pollard make up the bench. For Thurrock, there are a couple of changes, with Niall Clifford, the former Ulster fullback, unavailable this week owing to a foot injury. His place is taken by winger Jake Barrand. Kai Holloway is on the right wing, with Lewis Cross moving to the left. Owen Taylor resumes his partnership with Henry Bird in the middle of the field, and with the injury sustained by Tom Worsfold, Dan Stone moves number 10. Alex Jones returns as scrum half. Charlie Russo, the captain, is number 8 in place of Ben Timpson, who's away this week. Joss Nunn and Lawrence Brown make up the back row. Young Jay Jennings, age 19, is with Dritan Loka, a similar sort of age in the second row. Anthony Catchpole, Dan O'Brien make up a very large front row. Frank Wright, Rob Murphy and Matt Siller on the bench. So it's older Haberdashers to kick off, and it will be Ian McGee. Haberdashers are renowned for being a strong club from Boreham Wood in Hertfordshire, with a really great tradition of rugby. And of course they are notorious for the fact they don't train, they just turn up on a Saturday and play. But they are very fit young men. I'm sure this will develop as the game proceeds. There's Niall Clifford there, just turned up in the commentary box, the young Ulsterman who's with me. So good afternoon. Niall, how long is the injury like to last?
Should be back next week.
Should be back next week? That's be really good news. So what are you anticipating today? Good result?
Hopefully. I mean, both place above us should be a good scrap.
So Ian McGee has kicked off. It's very well taken there by Dan Olf. Alex Jones back in position at scrum half. Feeds up to the forwards. Dan Stone getting his first ball in the centre. Jake Barron there. It's a long spiral kick, looking for a 50-22 from the start. Hasn't quite reached the 22. It's in the hands of Joe Gatiss. Well tackled by Lewis Cross. Deep in the Haberdashers half. Number 8 is taken up there. James Clark, the captain, eager for work. Thurrock fighting for the ball, but it's come back on the Haberdashers side. Taken by Joshua Downey into contact. A couple of drives there, both centres there. Harry Briffett as well. Both centres driving as forwards. Thurrock is spread across the field. An inside pass there. Looks like a high tackle on Harry Briffett. And Dritan Loka, they're carrying a little bit of a hamstring injury from training the other night. Slight westerly breeze there. The ball almost taken by former captain Mick Leckenby. And for some reason, it's carrying a pint of beer. First line of the game from the penalty then goes to Old Haberdashers. and it's Patrick Haggerty, the prop, to throw in. It's quite unusual. Referee, who's come down from Durham, is very keen to get everybody in position. Ricky Hander, actually from Newcastle upon Tyne, and Mr. Hander there insisting there's a gap in the line-out. It's a good first line-out, well taken there by Thomas Arnott, and the scrum half has gone through a gap, but there was a slight accidental obstruction which prevented Gareth Jones through sneaking through the middle. So Anthony Catchpole, Dan Orff and Jack Cowman in the first scrum. They're facing Patrick Haggerty, Jonathan Gates, the vice-captain, Ian Sanderson on the loose head. There's Alex Jones to put in the ball. His first game in 3-4 weeks since he sustained an Achilles injury. It's good to see him back. Jones is deciding to dive past there. First receiver there is first receiver then was indeed one of the forwards who were transferred to Dan Stone. Unfortunately, a knock on by Owen Taylor. Under a large amount of pressure. Jake Barron came in there as first receiver, came in from full back. Interesting. So scrum to Haberdashers. The injured Tom Worsfold patrolling the touchline and looking anxiously on. His father, Peter, was, of course, one of our great captains at Thurrock and a former Saracen. He's here today. The scrum seems to wheel, but Haberdashers have won that. It's gone a long way back to fly off. The centres decide to kick. Let's put Jake Brand under quite a bit of pressure there, and it's bounced into touch. Not a 50-22, however. A big crowd today at Oakfield, pouring out from the captain's lunch. Dan Orff to throw in. It's gone to Joss Nunn at the back. He's been sacked, but Alex Jones has the ball. Put it back to Jake Barron, full back. With a raking left foot, it's gone massively towards touchline. It's gone to touch. It's more than a 50-22. That's almost a 70-yard gain. A wonderful kick by Jake Barron. A very quick line out and Thurrock are away. They've moved quickly. And a free kick. Dan Stone has the ball. He's given to Henry Bird. Henry Bird's into the 22. He's well tackled there, but Thurrock are recycling. Alex Jones. It's a difficult ball to take. It's gone backwards though, nevertheless. Thurrock have retained now. They've given away a penalty on the 22. Having made the mistake, they're eager to reclaim the ball, and they've played the ball on the floor. So it's Ian McGee who's able to relieve the pressure with a kick which has just reached the Thurrock half, just the halfway line. So a good foray by Thurrock deep into the Haberdashers half, almost resulted in a clear break for Henry Bird. Good to see him resuming his partnership with Owen Taylor. The line isn't straight, and unfortunately the referee might have played advantage there with Anthony Catchpole streaming through the middle. Possibly a little too soon to blow the whistle. Nevertheless, a Thurrock put in on the halfway line. Alex Jones, quite a long career with Essex as well as for Thurrock. And Dan Stone at 10, I think his first appearance of the season at 10 with the absence of Tom Worsfold. Dan Stone, of course, played a lot of his schoolboy rugby at 10 for Campion School. where he excelled. Stone has the ball and he's given a short pass to Henry Bird, who's been driven over the halfway line, well supported by Stone, and Thurrock have won that ball back. It almost looked as if Haberdashers were offside, but the referee hasn't seen that. And Jay Jennings take up the ball. Stone feeds out into the middle of the field. Owen Taylor. Stone again. A little chip on the left foot from Stone. He's almost won that back, not quite. Haberdashers have regained possession. And that's a box kick which has gone straight out. Thurrock have taken a quick one through Jake Barrand, although he is allowed to take the ball behind the touchline. The referee has judged that the line should be taken where the ball went out of play. Sorry, where the ball was kicked out of play. Good team of ball boys for Thurrock today in programme sellers. Dan Orff's a long throw to the back there, well taken by Captain Charlie Russo. Dan Stone has to dive to take that pass. He does it remarkably well. Henry Bird has burst right through the middle, straight into the opposition 22. Great run by Henry Bird. Ball recycled quickly. Charlie Russo, the captain. Jake Barron's in the line. There's a chance for winger Lewis Cross, who cuts inside. He's quite close to the line. Stopped 2 yards short. Is thrown back. It looks as if Thurrock have lost possession over the line. Great play from Thurrock, taking the ball from one side of the pitch to the other after the initial run by Henry Bird. Henry Bird was, of course, commentator last week. And he decided it was much easier playing on the pitch. I think his co-commentators in the stand as well. Has come straight to full-back. Jake Barrand feeds Dan Stone from the 22. Dan Stone decides to go on a bit of a run. He's fed Charlie Russo, the captain. Jay Jennings waiting for the ball with the John Langley type headband. Jay Jennings inside to Anthony Catchpole. Still up onto the halfway line. Ball comes out to Owen Taylor and Charlie Russo. Charlie Russo stopped in his tracks, but Thurrock still have the ball. Tritan Loka goes to ground. Nick Jones feeds Dan Stone. An inside ball, lovely inside ball to Joss Nunn. Haberdashers are slightly quicker to the ball and win the turnover. Very difficult to identify Joss Nunn there, usually with his flowing locks, this time with a head cap. But it's a penalty to Haberdashers just inside their own half. And that's found the first attacking touch about 5 metres from the Thurrock 22. Just before the game today, John Langley presented his number 4 shirt, second row shirt, to the club, one that he'd received in 1978 whilst playing the Essex Cup final, which Thurrock won when they defeated East London at the old Blues ground. A real source of inspiration. In the changing room, the Welsh words Calon and Dalda Deer were mentioned. Calon means heart, playing with the heart. And Thurrock, of course, have hearts of oak. And Dalda Deer means respect the jersey or stand your ground. Both mightily appropriate in this day and age of rugby. But a Haberdashers have the ball. The first attempt to make an attacking move inside Thurrock. It's a great move, and they've actually thrown a forward pass there at a crucial time. So it's a scrummage to Thurrock. Good afternoon. Vice Chairman Jason Bedding has arrived. Glad to see he's had a shave today. Does Alex Jones put the ball in? We're broadcasting all over the world today, to Singapore, the Cayman Islands, to Wales, where Stuart Henderson is watching, and Mercedes Foy in the Cayman Islands, Paul Stevens in Singapore. We really do have a worldwide audience nowadays. This time Jake Barron goes wide with a long kick, a spiralling kick. Problem with the modern ball is that it tends to fade. Having faded out in the touch, it comes back in. Haberdashers taking a chance to counter-attack. Haberdashers have possession inside the Thurrock half. They're taken to contact. Delivered by Gareth Jones, the scrum half. I wonder if he's Welsh. They used to say that Thurrock were the second best Welsh team in England. When they defeated London Welsh a couple of years ago, we were able to say Thurrock were the best Welsh team in England. It's a good patch of play there. Good patch of play for Haberdashers. That's fullback Joseph Gatiss there. He's broken through a gap there, and that's given a penalty to Haberdashers, and furthermore Thurrock have been issued a yellow card to Alex Jones for obstruction. Thurrock down to 14. There's a gap well spotted by Joe Gatiss. Ian McGee to kick the corner with that one-man advantage. Thurrock will have to reorganise, and I suspect Dan Stone may have to go to scrum half. Or possibly Kai Holloway, who has played there before. They've taken off Lawrence Brown, moved Matt Siddle on to scrum half, so going a forward short. Haberdashers won the line. They've set up a good driving maul. Thurrock managed to get it to ground 5 metres out. They've come short. Number 12, Josh Downey, is well tackled in the middle of the park. They drive through the guts of the Thurrock defence. They've come blind where they have extra men. It looks like winger Edward Jenkins has got in the corner, taken full advantage of the one man down, Old Haberdashers. And so Thurrock have not got off to the good start they desired. And the loss of Alex Jones obviously quite costly. Old Haberdashers 5, Thurrock 0. Ian McGee to kick the conversion. What they should have done then is move Kai to scrum half, carry on the same number of forwards, and use the winger both sides. Just using both sides, that's all you need to do. They've taken off forward now and put another one on. It's a good kick by McGee, but it's gone just the right of the posts. So Haberdashers 5, Thurrock 0. So Dan Stone to kick off. It's an excellent kick-off. It's gone high to 22, but it's well taken. Harvey Taylor's taken that one. Scrum half, Gareth Jones puts in the box kicks, but Jake Barron's in position. Decided to run straight at the heart of the Haberdashers' defence. He's brought the ball back. Siddle has the ball for the first time. Fed to Jay Jennings, goes inside. It's a good run by Thurrock. Good support by Jack Combe on the prop. Siddle looking for the ball. Haberdashers have come through this. Siddle is pushed over, and the hookers picked up the ball. Jonathan Gators, and they have once again they've got an overlap. This time it's come out to Jenkins again. Jake Barron's come across and he's put him into touch. And Joss Nunn has come across support. Thurrock would be wise, slow the game down a little with the advantage of the extra man going to Haberdashers. There was a tackle by Thurrock. Confusion over the line out, but it definitely was the Thurrock ball. The winger having been tackled by Joss Nunn and by Jake Barron in touch. So it's Dan Oath to throw in. It's a front ball which goes to Dritan Loco, takes it brilliantly. Siddle, nice pass. Charlie Russo runs into his opposite number. Looking for the ball. Siddle has the ball. Dan Stone with a nice little chip over. Very good option. He's got good footballing skills there, and he's kicked on again. Great play by Dan Stone at 10. Gives Kai Holloway a chance if he can pick the ball up. Unfortunately, he's picked it up and knocked it on in the process of going for the line. Great piece of play by Dan Stone. It really is an advantage with the 50-22 rule, because fullbacks and wingers have to stay back to cover that so they don't give away an attacking line-out. That's left a huge space behind the defence. Well exploited by Dan Stone, and great footballing skills to take the ball into the Haberdashers 22. Real attacking intent there from the depleted Thurrock team. So 7-man Thurrock pack. We'll see how they manage without blindside flanker Lawrence Brown. That's a good response from Thurrock. Gareth Jones put the ball in. The scrum has wheeled a little. It's a good box kick by Haberdashers, and they've got the ball back. Once again, Thurrock exposed on the outside. Fullback Catus is once again in the line. He's going there, and he's got the winger outside him. He's going to the corner himself, but pass goes behind him. Henry Bird is able to pick it up. He's able to attack his opposite number, Josh Downey. Joss Nunn in the middle of the field, well tackled. A lot of pressure there faced by Joss Nunn. Back to Jake Barron in his own 22. Booming left foot gone into the Haberdashers half, but is well taken by McGee. Number 8 there, great run by him. And James Clark linking up with Antoine Cornett. tackled by Jitan Loka. Left winger Josh Seabrook, his hands on the ball for possibly the first time. And this time Thurrock get a penalty. It's a huge kick from Jake Barron, making some 50 metres from the penalty. A good line out by Thurrock, went to the back, well taken, but dropped at the feet of Matt Siddle, consequently knocked it on. It's wonderful to see a host of games going on across the fields today. It was only last week that Thurrock Schools Rugby was resurrected with a new school to Orster Heath Academy and William Edwards forming part of the South West Education Trust. Swecket sent 2 teams along to the Essex Under-13 Championships, where they did exceptionally well against some of the county's public schools. It's a good move by Haberdashers to carry on the theme, and then on the Friday of last week, the first primary schools competition for quite some time, since Bob Williams' day. Outstanding. Won by Thameside. It was great to see 8 schools there. So Haberdashers in possession, inside their own half. Another fine break with the guard not tackling there. Let's put out Edward Jenkins, winger. Again, he's tackled the touch by Jake Barron with a lovely tackle, which is deemed legal. It seemed a little high. But Jake Barron is really flying today. Beautiful kicking and a wonderful tackle, saving the day. So Thurrock line out on their 22. The 10 minutes yellow card is over. Lawrence Brown resumes in the back row, and Alex Jones comes back in scrum half. So 5-point deficit during that period. As a line out which has been overthrown. It's missed Jocelyn at the front and given good possession to Haberdashers. It's gone out to the winger, and it's gone out to Josh Seabrook, who's heading for the corner, well tackled by Kai Holloway into the corner. Kai Holloway did really well to put in the try-saving tackle, but unfortunately they've given away a penalty. So 2 against 1, Kai Holloway was forced to turn. He turned really well and caught his man. Haberdashers are putting on a massive forward effort, close to the Thurrock line. They must be very close. I wonder if we're going to see one of those dropouts from behind the line, if they held up over the line. It's almost good tactic nowadays. It looks as if Haberdashers have driven over and scored their second try. So after 23 minutes, it's Old Haberdashers 10, Thurrock 0. It looks like Thomas Arnott has scored the second try. Thurrock have had some good periods, especially from the attacking of Henry Bird and Dan Stone. They've failed to convert the points, and Haberdashers have broken away on 2 occasions and converted, and now lead by 10 points to 0. Ian McGee with the conversion has gone long, low and hard, and it's just gone over.
Come on, Steve. Come on, Steve. Come on, Steve. Face up.
Dan Stone to kick off.
Go forward. Get under this.
Been quite an even game, but Haberdashers have taken their chances. The kick has gone to the centre of the field. It's juggled for a few moments by number 13, Harry Briffett, and once again they've broken away. Dan Stone is covering cross field. He's recovered the ball and he throws a long pass in field to Jake Barron. Jake Barron looks up and he puts a long kick down the middle of the field. It's gathered by McGee. It's dropped back in the 22 and he's found touch on his own 10-metre line. So off to throw in, none. It's Jay Jennings, beautiful take by Jay Jennings at the back of the line out. Thurrock once again have an attacking position. This time it goes to Loka, who has to turn to receive the pass. He's retained possession. Stone has the ball, brings in Kyle all the way from the blind wing. He makes contact with the centre winger. Jack Cowman. Loka once again. Dan Stone, a long pass out there, well taken. And dummy by Barron, who straightens. Thurrock have gone blind using their forwards. Alex Jones, Stone at 10. Pass in the middle of the field to Jack Cowman, who feeds inside Lawrence Brown. Loka, nice pass out to Stone. This time Henry Bird has no option but to take on the opposition. Haberdashers are offside in the middle of the field and Thurrock have a penalty in front of the posts about 30 metres out. Now Clifford in the background here suggesting they take the points. And Thurrock are opting to kick for goal, 12-0 down. Obviously listen to the tactical genius that is Niall Clifford.
Just to mix it up a bit.
Tom Worsfold has been the usual kicker this season, highly reliable. Today the duty falls to Jake Barron, who's kicked some magnificent penalties in the past, but is as yet a little untried this season, having only recently made his comeback. Crowd is hushed. And Barron has slotted that superbly. It's gone high above the crossbar into the farmer's field beyond. Old Haberdashers 12, Thurrock 3.
Come on, Henry.
Henry Bird getting a lot of support from the crowd after that exciting run, and manages to retain possession. Been a real asset to Thurrock since his recruitment a few years ago by Paul Smith. So McGee has kicked that out and it's gone straight out, so that's a scrum on the halfway line. I always find that difficult to comprehend when you've just conceded points and are unable to keep the ball in play. Almost immediately you hand back territory and possession to the opposition. I have no doubt Thurrock are happy to take that gift. Thurrock have split the attack, with Jake Barron coming up to the right with Kai Holloway, and Dan Stone, Henry Bird, Owen Taylor and Lewis Cross streaming out to the left. So Alex Jones has got the ball there. Number 8, Charlie Russo, captain, has picked it up. The ball has gone to the right, and Jake Brown there now puts the ball back into play with a long kick. It's well taken by Gators, who has been probably the star of the first half. But he's often chosen to run, and perhaps that explains why. The kick wasn't that great. It's come straight to Brown. Dan Stone has a chance now on the outside to use his pace. He's given the ball to Lewis Cross, and he's now put Owen Taylor in. Owen Taylor's got a chance. He's kicked ahead there, and perhaps he should have kept in hand. Once again, good movement by Stone has brought the chance, and unfortunately Thurrock have kicked the ball away and given Haberdashers a penalty, a chance to relieve the pressure. So Thurrock unable to execute the opportunity. Quite a conservative kick by the Haberdashers fly half, Ian McGee. Match ball has been lost on top of the stand. And ball boy is very quick to bring the spare ball into play. It's a good line out. It goes straight to Harvey Taylor at the back. Well tackled in the middle of the field. Thurrock seemed to have won possession from that breakdown. Stone, Josnan throws the dummies half through, but well held. Thurrock trying to recycle. Jack Coleman, the prop, goes into contact. Dan Stone once again, this time a short ball. Dan Stone very much in control here. It's come wide to Henry Bird. He hands off the first player, hands off the second and recycles, gives it Jake Brown, who throws a dummy. He's well tackled. He's managed to stay on his feet. Jake Brown has won the ball inside the Haberdashers 22. Stone sees a bit of a gap himself. Unfortunately, there's been an obstruction, with Dan Stone clean through. Dan Stone spot the opportunity with a rapier-like thrust and sidestep. He was through the gap. Unfortunately, the ref adjudged that one of our players obstructed the opposition and has awarded a penalty to Haberdashers. Harvey Taylor seems to have been hurt in that contact with Henry Bird. Jason Bedding just brought food supplies for the whole stand and a couple of drinks.
All right, lovely. I'm still trying to find a mover. Yeah.
Unfortunately, this looks like quite a serious injury. Strong run by Jake Barron. And Vice Captain Alex Jones asking the referee the reason for the penalty. And it looks as if Dan Stone was going to reduce the arrears. Former Chairman Lew Hughes presided over the dinner today, and what a sterling job he did. His own intrinsic sense of humour entertained the crowd, and I must say it was a great speech from the Haberdashers chairman as well. Peter Worsfold making his way to the stand. Perhaps he'd like a few words.
So they're in the van, and apparently.
The referee seems to have a little bit of a microphone problem as well. And Mickey Ayres, the referee assessor, is trying to adjust his equipment. So for some reason the referee has reversed the penalty. So his playing advantage was Dan Stone, breezed through the gap, and then decided that there'd been obstruction, and so has reverted back to the original penalty. So it's Thurrock, 7 metres out from the Haberdashers line, is Dan off to throw in. Tricky wind conditions with the wind coming from the northwest today. And again, that's been stolen by Haberdashers when Thurrock looks as if they're in a good position. Well tackled by the head-banded Jay Jennings. It's gone back to Ian McKee, who's tackled near his line. A bit of trouble there as he juggled for the ball. Charlie Russo driven out of the ruck, goes back in with venom, and that looks as if he's turned the ball over. So don't quite win the clean ball, but get the scrum. Much to the appreciation of the staunch and somewhat biased home crowd. Of course, all home crowds are biased. Well, a couple of neutrals in the crowd. Many of the referee assessor and Bob Whittle from the Essex Schools Association. So Thurrock is 7 metres out to the left of the post, and Alex Jones is about to put the ball in. Referee Ricky Hander is ensuring that the scrum is straight. Charlie Russo in the now familiar position of number 8, although Ben Timpson usually plays there. And Haberdashers, as you can probably hear, are full of glee. They've won that scrum. As Russo tried to pick the ball up, a secondary shunt from the Haberdashers meant that they won the penalty. So deep into the first half, Haberdashers lead Thurrock by 12 points to 3. One converted try and a try to Jake Barron's penalty. This time Thurrock challenged for the ball, and it's been won at the back. Joss Nunn got a hand to it. Thurrock had the ball. No, it's not going terribly well for either side. Loka. They slowed that down a little. Russo back to his best in recent weeks with a rampaging run. Out to Dan Stone, Henry Bird. It's a good ball to Owen Taylor. It goes hard. Up to the Haberdashers 22. Stone calling the shots. It's a good pass out to Taylor. Taylor goes to ground. And again Stone. Joss Nunn. Jake Barron's come into the line. Decide to go. It's a high tackle on Barron. The penalty is given away. Can Thurrock take advantage of this opportunity? It's a free opportunity. Loka a little sidestep, but tackled on the hand. Stone. A long ball out to Henry Bird. Henry Bird has a chance here, and Barron is back in the line. Kyle Olway is chancing outside. He's come inside. He's driven past 3 players. It's a good sidestepping run, full of power.
Stays playing. Got to score.
Thurrock now have to execute in this position. It's come to Jack Cowman, slowed down a little. And the Haberdashers player's gone off his feet. It should be a penalty in front of the post. Will they take the points, reduce the arrears again? Or are they going quickly? They're trying to wrestle the ball free. Haberdashers are not allowing the quick ball. And the referees come back for an earlier penalty for the high tackle on Barron. And now Captain Russo is instructing that Barron attempts the penalty. This will be a difficult penalty. It's the wrong side of the field for a left footer. No doubt he has the capability. There's a very strong wind as well blowing from the west. Barron really needs to drive this low and hard because of the wind. And once the ball gets above the height of the stand, this accelerates the ball upwards and forwards. Jake Barron on the left foot. That's a wonderful kick. One could only feel it would have been a little bit easier for Tom Worsfold with the right foot. And that's half time. 12 points to 6. Both teams elected to stay on the field today. Sometimes they go back to the changing rooms, back to the sheds, they say in New Zealand. So we'll go to Niall Clifford with a summary of the first half. Niall, what do you think?
Did you like the commentating last week?
The commentary last week was fine, but unfortunately there was some expletives at the end in the review, and we had to wipe those away. This is broadcast around the world to 50,000 people.
That's right, it's only Jason watching.
So Niall, what do you think of the first half? Why are Thurrock behind?
Just not executing. Two on ones, kicking the ball away. It was there, three try scoring opportunities, just didn't take them.
I think before the game started we mentioned the 3 E's. One is exit for your own 22 without conceding, the second one was energy, and the third one was execution. Possibly at the start the energy wasn't quite there, it didn't go off robustly enough.
A bit flat, but it's coming. It's coming.
Was it right to take the 2 penalty shots?
I think so, keep the scoreboard ticking.
And Thurrock got into the game at 12-6.
Exactly.
So it's been a great day in the club with the captains there present and 11 captains from the past there, and it's been a fantastic day for the club, and it would be great if Thurrock could revive in the second half and perhaps complete a victory.
Yeah, what about the other games? Do we know what the other games?
There have been several games going on during this afternoon. One is finished. We're not quite sure of the scores yet.
I think it was the 2s or 3s playing Eton Manor?
Eton Manor were here.
And also,
Old rivals.
I'm sure they are down there.
Green and red, right?
It's good to see the club packed and 3 games going at once. And of course we have to remember tomorrow the ladies play Reading in the Ladies South Championship. Good afternoon to Mercedes Foy in the Cayman Islands, and she'll be watching in earnest tomorrow when the ladies, which she captained for 6 seasons, are playing Reading in the Championship. Should be another great day. Must say the facilities at Thurrock look fantastic. Today's game is sponsored by Ascalon Building, and you'll see their board on the side behind the post next to the scoreboard. Run by one of our coaches, Ricky Love, and his wife Claire Love. They've gratefully agreed to sponsor the game today. I'll tell them about their sponsorship after the match. There's been a lot of contention about the 50-22 kicking game, and a lot of people are using the spiral kick because the spiral kick rolls the ball on into touch. It's much better the end over end kick, which sometimes comes back. But a lot of people are not exploiting it as perhaps they ought to, because if it's engineered correctly, it will tie the full back and the wingers down to their own 22, which enable a lot of space midfield, which means that you can bring in the full back to attack and the blindside winger. It hasn't quite materialised in the Premiership. It's something we're looking forward to. how fascinating the Premiership is this season, with all teams having a chance to win. And last night's victory by Sale over Harlequins, the champions, showed that there are opportunities for everybody. It's quite amazing early on the season to see teams like Exeter and Bristol, the front runners last season, at the bottom of the table. The pandemic has allowed people to train, develop and work hard at their games, and that's resulted in a very even contest. And of course, people are saying the fact there's no relegation this season from the Premiership allows people to be a little bit more entertaining the way they play. It doesn't necessarily mean there won't be relegation in the future, because rugby is about competition, and if there's no promotion from the Championship, then you lose a lot of impetus at that level and a lot of desire of club owners to actually put finances into a club in order to try to make the Championship. After all, one of the greatest teams in recent years has been Exeter, who just a few years ago were languishing in the same position as a lot of people in the Championship. And it's to be remembered that many years ago Exeter played Thurrock in a cup game, in the John Player Cups it was at the time, and it was 1981, and Thurrock were the first team to take a train all the way to a match, and they lost narrowly by 7 points to 0 at Exeter. So anything is possible in a game of rugby. Thurrock have quite amazing facilities at the moment, beautiful playing surface, and of course a new school being built on the premises. New school offers fantastic facilities and opportunities for an education legacy, as well as a chance to promote rugby in the area. The school's going so well at the moment, and providing player pathways, there will be some great days ahead for Thurrock, I have no doubt. Anyway, at the moment it's 12.6 to Old Haberdashers, who have indeed scored 2 tries and converted 1, and Thurrock with 2 penalties trailing by 12.6.
Come on, Kai!
Kai Holloway's now moved the grandstand side and is getting a lot of support. Dave Stevens, the forwards coach, striding across purposefully. We're unable to kick off as the physio is attending to one of the Old Haberdashers players in the middle of the field. The referee's still having problems with his microphone equipment. Tom Worsfold assisting. And the sun has come out for the first time this afternoon at Thurrock Oakfield. So it looks like fly half Ian McGee, who's down there receiving attention from the physiotherapist. I have to point out that Thurrock's backs coach, Sally Toussaint, she was, is now married to the captain Charlie Russo, and she's now Sally Russo. So it's Dan Stone to kick off towards the east. The setting sun, the west, meaning the sun, whatever little there is of it, shining Thurrock's faces. That's a high hanging kick out for Dan Stone, is challenged by Thurrock. Lewis Cross got very close to winning that one. Gareth Jones with a box kick for Haberdashers, taken by Lewis Cross, who decides to try to sidestep, but is well tackled. Lawrence Brown. Loca waiting for the second phase, but has gone straight to Dan Stone. Again, a little chip because there's nobody there. He's got there once again. He's got the fly kick in. The retreating Haberdashers managed to win the ball back. Frank Wright has come on the second half. Jack Howman has gone off. Frank Wright straight into the thick of the action. McGee, numbers on the outside. Tritan Loker has to get across. He can't get there. He hasn't got the pace to get there. And this time Haberdashers have two people on the inside and quite easily score a breakaway try. Once again, Thurrock have been undone at the beginning of the second half by a counter-attack with perhaps too many forwards left guarding one side. Left a very big gap at the back. There was a sporting Joseph Gators who scored the try, and in front of the post he and McGee as the extras. So it's Old Haberdashers 19, Thurrock 6. So immediately Jake Barron's efforts have been wiped out and Stone to kick off once again. 19.6. Another good kick-off by Stone. Thurrock put the tackling just outside the 22. Box kick by Gareth Jones. It's taken by Russo, who's dropped back as number 8 into that slot, playing the old-fashioned number 8 role. Jones, quick ball to Jay Jennings. Jay Jennings goes forward. Lawrence Brown. It's a good charge by him. He's retained possession. Looks of numbers out to the right. Stones, a good pass. Quick pass, kick pass. Kai Holloway. Kai Holloway comes inside. Looks as if Thurrock had numbers, but they were forced back inside. They've gone the blind side where Josh Nunn comes out. Alex Jones. Thurrock have gone hard in the 22. It's good compact play by Thurrock. Slowed down a little. And the catch pole, Owen Taylor. Well tackled in midfield. Taylor's managed to get an arm free. Jones to the ball, Stone once more. This time he gives the ball to Josh Nunn, who's a little bit isolated but managed to turn inside. Jones, quick ball to Catchpole, a flip on to Jay Jennings, a little isolated but Catchpole again, slips the ball to Loker. Loker goes hard into the middle of the field. That's a punishing run by Loker. Henry Bird, and this time Owen Taylor. Owen Taylor accelerates through, he's close to the ball line. Good run by Taylor. Kai Holloway's moving the scrum off. Loker. Unfortunately, with Thurrock on the attack, looks like a head injury to an Old Haberdashers player, and they've had to halt play just when Thurrock are in the ascendancy. But safety must come first. So we hope this is not too serious. John. 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 Unfortunate hiatus in play with this injury to Old Haberdashers. Can't quite see who it is. One of the Old Haberdashers forwards, I think. There's a very good patch of play by Thurrock. It looked very much as if they were in the ascendancy, and then unfortunately play was halted. It's great to see the Old Haberdashers player getting to his feet. It looks like a head injury, and so he will have to be replaced. A warm round of applause from all players. You never like to see that, and Dritan Loka has gone across to apologise. I think it was probably Dritan he ran into. And Thurrock have an attacking scrum. I'm just joined by John Langley, a great second row forward of the past, who brought along his jersey today to present the team. John, what do you think of the first half?
I think it's a much more even game than the score suggests. If you unforced errors, it would be much closer, but that score, just the start of the second half, is a bit of a killer because 13 points. So they look a lot sharper than they did in the last game now.
They're a lot sharper. That was a good pasture play for Thurrock. It was just an unfortunate game had to be halted, but this is a good attacking opportunity. 7 or 8 metres out from the Old Haberdashers line. So Alex Jones put the ball in. Thurrock's scrummage isn't very good. It's going backwards, and luckily it's picked up by Charlie Russo, who managed to regain his footing. Russo has recovered the ball. Chance for Alex Jones to go through the gap. He stopped about 3 metres short. Thurrock dig for the ball.
Turnover again.
It's turned over, but Thurrock had the penalty. And what will they opt to do now? Will they take the points? Joss Nunn's taken a quick one. He's turned himself, and he's gone hard for the line. He's just short. Thurrock have recycled. Anthony Catchpole, the prop. Now the danger is he'll be held up over the line, then you'll get a drop out behind the line. That's the great danger nowadays. So they could have taken the 3 points. And looks as if there's been some dissent, which is very unfortunate. And if that is the case, the scrum half will receive a yellow card, and having already received a yellow card, he will get the red card, so we hope that's not the case. It's held up over the line. This is the new rule. There'll be a dropout behind the line. So a missed opportunity for Thurrock. Old Haberdashers to drop out behind their own line. Ian McGee to kick off. It's a good kick. It's come up almost the halfway line. Jake Barron, fullback, has the ball. Very strong first half by Barron. Alex Jones, catch pole, flips on to Russo, the captain, in the middle of the field. Russo goes to ground. Dan Stone, attacking fly off, sends Joss Nunn free on the outside. Very well tackled. There's Harvey Taylor, the open side, Haberdashers. Jones, Lawrence Brown, back row turned hooker. Jones looks to the blind side. He's giving Kai Holloway a bit of a chance. Joss Nunn outside him. Dritan Loka, another punishing run. Dan Stone, the fly half, gives a ball across the face, but he's been knocked on. It looks as if Haberdashers were offside, which is rather fortunate. Thurrock really have to cut down the errors, as John Langley said. This is what's crucifying them at the moment. We talked in the change room before the game about execution, the 22. That is key to winning these games. So Barron with his wonderful left foot pushing play into the corner. At some stage, if Thurrock are to win this game, they must convert these chances.
Well, they have most of the pressure, don't they? Yeah, they have most most of the pressure. It's just the breakout that's cost them hard in the second half. But they need to score here. They need to come away from here with
It's all for the throw, and it's gone right to the back to Charlie Russo, the captain. It's a good line out. It's well taken, and Thurrock have set up the rolling maul once again. They've been forced to ground. They're about 3 meters short, and because that was a maul, it's gone to ground. There's the turnover. So in spite of the exhortations from the captain, Thurrock have come up short once again. Have you seen the young second row Thurrock with the headband in the John Langley mode?
I did. He looks a lot better and a lot quicker than me.
Well, he's a bit younger, but Jay Jennings, a very, very good young player, came up through the system, through the Colts, and former student at William Edward School.
That's what we want.
The pathways are working very well with the schools at the moment, and that is the future. This is a young Thurrock side, and when it matures, it will be a fine young Thurrock side. Jeff Cave there, sporting a beard down below, a flying winger from rugby school, who played for England in 19s. Thurrock have yet another opportunity with a penalty. This time, surprisingly, Thurrock attempt to kick the penalty, having just had a penalty a little while earlier in front of the posts. Always mystifies me when they do that, as we're now 8 minutes further along and they could have taken the points before. Nevertheless, perhaps as a consequence of having the attacking lines not quite crossing the line. Jake Barron, not the regular kicker. Tom Worsfold suffering injury in the last game out against Shelford. Crowd is hushed. And Barron, there was always going to be a difficult kick for Barron with the left foot because the westerly is blowing right across the pitch and has driven that outside the right hand post. So in spite of all the pressure in the early part of the second half, Thurrock have conceded 7 points and scored none. It's a little disappointing for the very large crowd which has gathered here for the captain's lunch. And that's a fine kick out by McGee. It's taken by Barron inside his own half. He elects to kick back himself with a lovely chip, and he's taken that beautifully in Dan Bigger mode. He's managed to squeeze the ball back. Jones with the ball to Stone. Stone with a missed pass to Ulf. This time Joss Nunn, giving Kyle Holloway a chance on the outside. He's come back inside to Joss Nunn. Joss Nunn has broken the 22. Back to Dan Ulf. Great passion play from Thurrock. Great interchange between Holloway, who now moves scrum half. A lovely pass. It's gone backwards. Jay Jennings. Frank Wright, the prop, gone well into the 22. Defence has been set up well. Dan Song is long past Henry Bird. He feeds ball out to Owen Taylor. Owen Taylor to Jay Jennings. And he throws a dummy with Lewis Cross on the outside. It's all Thurrock at this stage. Jones goes for the short, sharp break. Thurrock have lost possession on the floor within sight of the Old Haberdashers line. Haberdashers, of course, a famous endowed school, or a series of schools. First of all, it was a girls' school, which in the 19th century was quite unique. Unfortunately, it was part of the Robert Aske empire. Robert Aske somewhat disappointed in later years to find that he'd been involved in something quite scandalous. But nevertheless, no more of that. And of course, the Old Askians were quite a famous South London team as well. Old Haberdashers nowadays emanate from Boreham Wood in Hertfordshire. They actually have some schools in Wales, Monmouth School being the most famous. Monmouth School is where Keith Jarrett, a great rugby league player and Wales international, went to school. And they have a secondary branch at Pontypool called Westmon, which is famous for two great props, Graham Price, the Welsh prop, and another Welsh prop who played for England called Mako Vunipola. Products of Haberdashers School Pontypool, along with Thurrock member John Price, who played hooker for the school. Haberdashers once again break out. They've lost possession. Jake Brown has a chance to recover. The referee again doesn't play advantage and gives Thurrock the scrum some 35 metres from their line. Well, John, quite a mistake-ridden game for Thurrock, probably costing them dearly.
I think it's going to be too much to claw back at the moment, Ralph.
It's unfortunate. They have the wind against them as well. It's now blowing a very strong westerly from the river. It's quite easy for Haberdashers to exit. It's been a very even game apart from the breakaways.
Still, 2 converted scores would do it.
Ever the optimist. We shall hope for the best. John Langley and I were very fortunate to play for a Thurrock team in the 70s, which won practically everything, including the Essex and Eastern Counties Cup, and went to the National Cup on several occasions, and playing some memorable games against people like Havant in Hampshire. And of course, at the end of that period, Thurrock played Exeter, the famous Exeter, away, and took a train to that game in 1981 and lost narrowly by 7 points to 0. One of our other captains, John Marney, was man of the match that day, kicking the ball in very heavy, muddy conditions, repeatedly into touch, where Linus won by John Magnuson, tapped down to Kevin Wakeford, yet another captain. Fullback. Injured. Good to see Niall Clifford here today again. Hopefully he'll be back next week. Otherwise he'll become known as Sick Note. So Thurrock have the ball, Dan Stone at 10. He's put the ball to Jake Brown, who's kicked that ball away, but it looks as if it's gone directly into touch. That Wesley is unforgiving, driving the ball right across the pitch. Difficult to place the ball on the foot, the strength of wind, especially when you're left-footed. The weather freshening a little now as we go late into October. That's a free kick in the line against Thurrock. Looks like for holding down. Booker has taken that ball very quickly. Jonathan Gatiss, the brother of the fullback. And looking back, they haven't been in the Thurrock half very often, but when they do, they usually execute and come away with points, and that has been the difference in the teams. Full-back has come into the line, the blindside winger Jenkins has come across the field. Very well tackled by Barron, who has gone for the ball, managed to get his hands and lift the ball. And he's won the ball back, fortunately for Thurrock, fortuitously. Jake Brown seems to be everywhere today. He's come from left to right, this time favouring his left foot. Drives the ball hard and finds touch a few metres from the Thurrock 10-metre line. Rob Murphy's come on to the back row. Rob Murphy's come on in place of Lawrence Brown. Rob Murphy, the utility player, who's playing in the centre for Thurrock. There's another missed line out going over the outstretched hands of Jay Jennings. And with Frank Wright unable to take the back, it's Haberdasher's possession. And he's left a big gap there for Haberdashers. And just when it looks as if they were about to score, the referee has given a penalty to Haberdashers. I'm not quite sure what that was for, but he is talking to both captains.
Is that what's on this one? Can you get it?
James Clark and Charlie Russo being given a talking to by the referee. And that's a penalty to Old Haberdashers. And Thurrock's 22 in front of the posts, which surely they will convert into points. When Haberdashers get into Thurrock half, they explode with energy, and that's been the main difference. They gain momentum and their spirits rise. On the other hand, Thurrock have had many attempts to cross the line, but failed on every occasion. So it's Ian McGee, good name, to take the penalty in front of the posts. McGee duly converts that. Old Haberdashers 22, Thurrock 6. Now can Thurrock claw their way back into this game? It's a great kick-off by Dan Stowe. It looks as if a player's been taken in the air, and this could be very difficult for Thurrock. There's Lewis Cross, who's come from the left wing and taken out the player in the air, and that has received a yellow card. Perhaps a little bit naive, or perhaps a little bit over-anxious to regain possession. Now right winger Kai Holloway will have to work very hard to cover both wings. So Thurrock are really up against it. They scored 22 points to 6. Ray Davis, who went along to watch Haberdashers last week against Colchester, suggested if Thurrock could start off well early in the game, they might be able to win this one. Unfortunately, they weren't able to do that, and Haberdasher exposing the numbers. And that's a fantastic try for number 13, Harry Briffett, who's burst through the gap, accelerated round the outside, and crossed in the corner. A brave attempt to tackle by Thurrock has led to a bit of agitation. A beautiful outside break by Briffett, which Thurrock were not able to cope with. This is McGee with the conversion attempt. Haberdashers 27, Thurrock 6. A great conversion by McGee, so it makes it 29-6. Quick, wasn't he?
Yeah, quick and big.
Stone with the kick-off. A beautiful kick-off. This time no Thurrock player attempts to reach the ball. Perhaps having learned from Lewis Cross's error. Old Haberdashers seem to be very good exposing the weaknesses in the Thurrock defence on the breakout. Barron has passed the ball to Owen Taylor. He gets it out. Sorry, Owen Taylor has the ball now. Chance on the outside. Gives it to Holloway. Holloway, chance on the outside. He's going on the outside this time. He's thrown the ball inside. Taylor. Kai Holloway was almost away then. Took the outside route. Just well tackled by Gators at full back. It's a good relieving kick by McGee. It looks as if Holloway has taken a bit of a knock. And the Thurrock already down to 14 with the yellow card. That's quite worrying. Now he's simply lost his boot, I think. I think he's all right. The Thurrock are down to 13 at the moment, so hopefully the referee will wait for Holloway to get back on the field. Holloway has recovered. Front ball to Jay Jennings, a nice line-out ball. Charlie Russo, the captain, takes it up once again. How many times have we said that in the season? Looks like a tightly organised Old Haberdashers defence. Stone, Henry Bird, Frank Wright, Alex Jones, and Jack Cowman is back on the field. It's an excellent run from the prop. Dan Stone to Henry Bird. It's an outside pass to Holloway. Unfortunately, the wind has taken it away from him. Holloway tries to regather. Number 8. Rob Murphy is picked up, but unfortunately he's been knocked on prior to that. Or fortunately in Thurrock's case.
Great pass, Henry!
So that pass went to ground when Holloway seemed to have a bit of an opportunity. This is probably Thurrock's last chance to get into the game. If they're going to try to get back into the game, they'll have to score at some stage fairly soon. So now it's young Frank Wright back on the field with Jack Cowman at prop and Dan Olf, a very young front row combination. 19 the props and 22 the hooker. And bearing in mind, props don't usually mature until in their mid-30s. John Langley has some happy days of being moved to prop by his captain at the time.
Happy is not a word I'd use.
Memorable.
As needs must.
As needs must, indeed. So Thurrock have held out there, yes. Henry Bird. Thurrock go to the outside. Jake Barron's coming to the line. He's broken the first tackle. He's managed to feed the ball out to Owen Taylor. Owen Taylor throws the dummy. And a chance to win the ball. And Thurrock on the back foot again in that breakdown. And they managed to retrieve possession, yes, looks like it, just. Most of their players are now in the ruck. There's not a lot outside. Yet another turnover for Old Haberdashers. As Thurrock are penalised on the ground.
There does seem to be a lot of space on the blind side. No, they say there's a lot of space on the blind side, which you don't seem to recognise, but it's easy when you're up here up.
It's certainly easier looking from this lofty position, bird's eye view of everything. It's never like that in the field, or you could visualise it occasionally and think, if I look at this space on the blind side, I might be able to get something out of it. Always easier when you play like John Marnie, scrum half. He's always looking for little opportunities on the blind side. An outstretched arm manages to retrieve that ball for Haberdashers, but they have given away the penalty. Thurrock get on with it quickly. Joss Nunn takes the ball, always makes the most of it. 10 yards. Another penalty, not retreating 10 metres. Perhaps this time Barron will kick the ball in the corner. He knows from experience if he gives it plenty of air, it will fly into the corner. He doesn't give it plenty of air and it goes for 22. And in fact this is working on the left foot on the left touchline. It's a bit like Dan Bigger using a banana kick on the right touchline. Inevitably it only goes 20 or 25 metres at the maximum. Thurrock's line out, off to throw. It's a long throw and it's a wonderful take of the back by Charlie Russo. Perfect line out execution. But at the back it should release quick ball. Instead Thurrock are going for a long drive for home. Haberdashers have given away another penalty. Stone has a free ball. He works a switch to Henry Bird. Goes back into contact. Joss Nunn feeds back to Dan Stone. It's gone backwards to Owen Taylor. And Thurrock go back for the penalty. So they need to take quickly. Rob Murphy is calling for the ball. Thurrock desperately to speed the game up. This time it is Dan Stone, the right foot, to kick the touch. Perhaps they heard the commentator. And he duly puts it into the 5 metre line. Kai Holloway screaming for the ball on the right, desperate to get his hands on the ball, wants to have another crack at the opposition left winger, Josh Seabrook. Once or twice he's almost gotten the outside. So Thurrock with another chance to execute in the 22. What can they conjure up? Olf with the throw. That's a really good throw to Joss Nunn. Joss Nunn has won the ball. A distant whistle from the far pitch seemed to halt proceedings, but Thurrock are given a scrum in the perfect position. Now at this stage Thurrock need to find and execute a 100% move, which pays dividends. Looking down at the crowd there, I can see Mick Leckenby, who was an exponent of the move called the bunner. Unfortunately, 50% of the time the ball ricocheted off his very broad chest, and Thurrock didn't score. But on the occasion when he caught the ball, it was always a score. Called bunner because of the redoubtable Mark Suckling, who had more bunny than Sainsbury's, allegedly. Thurrock have won that line. Charlie Russo's picked up, but he's halted by the opposition back row. So Thurrock going to a drive. They're being held up. They haven't got the knee to the ground. This could result in a turnover. It's now gone to ground. And of course, an Old Haberdashers turnover. So possibly there's been some dissent there with the referee talking to Charlie Russo, the Thurrock captain. It's been good to see the Premiership level referees not taking any dissent whatsoever, and that being echoed by what's happening elsewhere. There's never been room for that in rugby, and nor should there be. So Old Haberdashers, Gareth Jones put the ball in the scrum. It's a solid scrum, and they are on the march again. This could result in a penalty. The referee's asked him to use it, but he has given the penalty. Leads to bellows of excitement from the Haberdashers front row. And that was probably Thurrock's last chance. Beautiful kick from McGee. Sends play back to the Thurrock 10-metre line. Sorry, the Haberdashers 10-metre line. Today's game sponsored by Ascalon Builders, and Old Haberdashers have certainly shown the way to build a lead. It's tapped back in the line and given Thurrock an opportunity to win the ball back, but they've lost it. Haberdashers have recovered, using the forward to set up. Number 8, James Clark, fumbles the ball. And yet another chance for Thurrock to capitalise. Claire Love, the director of Ascalon Builders, is walking along with her son Jack. Hope she's enjoying the day of sponsorship, but perhaps not the match itself. Jack himself is a young prop. Alex Jones with the feed. Good to see him back in a Thurrock shirt. Ed Stevens has been a very able deputy since his return from Swansea University. Ed not available this week, and so Alex has resumed as number 9. Played many seasons for Essex, Alex, and been the vice captain. Kevin Wakeford, an absent captain, standing there in the background. Charlie Russo has picked up. Alex Jones has broken. Alex Jones throws a ball across to Jake Barron. Jake Barron's got a chance here. He's put Kai Holloway in with a chance, but he's tackled just short, 3 metres short. Every time Jake Barron ends the line, Thurrock got a chance. A very hard pass hits Charlie Russo on the chest, and that chance has gone a begging. Repeatedly, Jake Barron has broken through the defence. And Thurrock have not capitalised, not managed to score. Once again, they have a penalty. Very quick tap there. Matt Siddle's on the field. Dan Stone throws a dummy between his legs, then gives the ball out to Jack Coleman. Jack Coleman. Alex Jones. Ball's deliberately knocked on. It's a yellow card for Haberdashers. And that's Thomas Arnott, the earliest try scorer, who's gone off. So Matt Siddle has come on. He has the ball in his hands, and they move Dan Stone onto the wing, trying to use his pace out wide. Siddle kicks the ball into the corner. With a failing light as we reach the autumn equinox, the floodlights should be on at Thurrock, but somebody has forgotten to turn them on. Thurrock close this time again. Attacking attempt. Quick ball. This time Thurrock have got over. It looks like young Jay Jennings. Barron takes the conversion quickly. And looks as if it's gone wide. So Old Haberdashers 18 points to the good with just a few minutes left. They've shown plenty of promise today, Thurrock, but have never managed to breach the opposition defence until that moment. It's certainly not through lack of trying. The execution hasn't always been there, I think it's fair to say. Jay Jennings initially lost the ball, managed to recover it. Jake Barron going for the long kick. It's gone very high. And unfortunately it's gone straight to touch. Good attempt by Jennings to win the ball to front the line out. The Haberdashers have given away the penalty for holding on. Quickly Jake Barron gets across. The fact he's rushing indicates there's not much time left. He's gone for the touch and it's landed on top of the stand. So dead on halfway, Thurrock line out. It's overthrown, it's gone past Jay Jennings. Picked up by Jonathan Gatus, the hooker. They feed the forwards. Very aggressive tackle from Charlie Russo. Comes out to McGee. It's a missed pass. Owen Taylor manages to put down his opposite number, Josh Downey. Thurrock go into the counter ruck. The Haberdashers won it back. It's Henry Bird. James Clark, the captain. The ball's come wide again, always dangerous. He just managed to reach that ball. It looks like Tom Marsh, the winger, stepped inside. He's gone outside Kai Holloway, stepped inside, a great run by him. He's just come on after the interval. The ball has gone forward in Thurrock's 22. Just past despairing hands of Kai Holloway, and substitute Thomas Marsh comes hard inside, and the inside pass has just gone to ground. It looks as if Sam Pollard has had to leave the field.
That's the blind side.
Charlie Russo has last picked up the opportunity to go down the blind side. It's fed inside to Owen Taylor. Jay Jennings picked that up well, and a little reverse pass, another good pass from good passing all round the Thurrock. Gives Jake Brown an opportunity on the outside. At last they've seen the chances on the blind side. Joss Nunn has got a chance here. No, it's Dan Stone who's coming hard across the field. Nice pass out to Siddle. Kai Holloway goes straight. He's thrown the ball out there. Frank Wright in good sport, back to Kai Holloway. Kai Holloway takes the contact. Got a chance to retrieve the ball. Alex Jones, a long pass to Matt Siddle. Henry Bird's having a go up the middle. They've won the ball back, but there's nobody there to pick it up. Eventually the scrum half gets there. Jay Jennings goes up the middle of the field. Offload, lovely offload there, but one back in the tackle, ripped in the tackle. Just Thurrock were threatening a line. The ball is ripped out the grasp of the attacking centre. The Old Haberdashers have a chance to clear their lines, and that is the final whistle. One can only give credit to Old Haberdashers. They came to Thurrock and they played very well on the break. They managed to expose the Thurrock defence on a number of occasions. A few errors led to yellow cards, and every time Thurrock had a yellow card, Old Haberdashers took advantage. This has not been the best performance from Thurrock. They've shown spirit, they've come back well, and they've created quite a few opportunities. But once again, the lack of execution deep in the opposition 22 has probably let them down. Didn't start with enough energy, and overall a game they could have won, but once again have failed to produce the goods when it really mattered. Nevertheless, it's been a great day for the club. Good to see so many old faces back at the club, and lots of reminiscing to do this evening, and possibly some singing. This is a fantastic old club, and I'm sure we'll have lots of future memories created by these very young players. So it's good afternoon from Thurrock Oakfield from me, and best wishes to Mercedes Foy in the Cayman Islands.